Hey guys, it's Phil back with another lesson in the After Effects course. We're moving on to a new section of topics. We're talking about creating shapes. Shapes are one of the backbones of After Effects and creating motion graphics. And so we're going to go through all the different ways that you can create shapes and all sorts of things that have to do with shapes, masks, and that sort of thing. So let's get straight to it. Make sure you're watching this in HD and in full screen. So first we're going to talk about creating a shape with the shape tool. It's this tool up here. It looks like a rectangle. If you click and hold it, you will see that it has some different options. The hotkey is Q. So if you're on your pointer and you press Q on your keyboard, the shape tool will come up and you can scroll through these shapes by just pressing Q. Say let's do a rectangle. All you have to do is select the rectangle, select your color, and then click and drag. That's basically how you create a basic shape. Same goes for if you want a circle or polygon or really anything. Any of these shapes. Rectangle with rounded edges. But there's a couple things to keep in mind when you are creating your shape. If you just click and drag, you can make it whatever width and whatever height you want. But if you want to have it symmetrical, you would click, and while you're clicking, hold the shift key down. And that creates, well, obviously for a rectangle, a symmetrical rectangle is a square. So that will create a perfect square. For example, for a circle, instead of doing an oval, if you press shift, it locks it to a perfect circle. So that's pretty cool. Another thing you can do is when clicking and dragging, if you press shift and command, it basically creates a circle from where you started clicking. So you'll see here, if you want a circle directly in the middle of your page, turn on your title action safe, put your pointer right in the middle where this crosses, click it, press command and shift on a Mac, I believe it's control and shift on a PC, and then drag out. And you can see here, now I have a perfect circle starting from the middle of my screen. So that's perfectly in the middle right now. Say you want to change the color. All you have to do is go back up to fill up here and choose a new color. There you have it. Another thing you can do with these shapes is actually just double click the shape right here and it will fill the entire composition with that shape. So for example, for a circle, it will create an oval as big as it can. For star, it will create a star. That didn't create as big as it can, but I've never actually created a star that way. So I guess it depends on what shape you're using. So that is pretty much all you have to know. Another thing is, if you don't want to create a perfect square from where you start clicking, where you press shift and control, if you don't want a perfect square, you can just press the command or control button, depending on if you have a Mac or a PC. And see here, I can create all sorts of shapes that way. And that's pretty much it. One thing to keep in mind though too is to create a more unique shape, you can create a shape once and then continue to create more shapes off of this if you want. And that's one way to basically create interesting shapes. And you'll see as I add shapes to this one layer, all the shapes are coming up here down in our timeline. and you can delete them if you want to add different shapes or whatever. So that is how you create some custom shapes with the shape tool. Next time we're going to be talking about using the mask tool to create shapes, which is actually the way I prefer to create shapes, and you'll see why in future lessons, but it gives you a lot more flexibility when creating motion and things like that. Alright, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I'll see you next time. Bye.